All right, let's turn to James Fitzgerald. He's a retired FBI criminal profiler and forensic linguist who worked on high-profile cases, including finding the Unibomber. He's also the author of A Journey to the Center of the Mind. James, we couldn't have a better, more experienced guest for this story, this very tragic story. What are your instincts telling you about this case?
My instincts are telling me that after almost 2 weeks of this investigation being undertaken by the police, the victimology so far, that is the backgrounds of the individual victims, Madison, Ethan, Kaylee, and Xana, have not brought about any fruitful investigative leads for them. And that's bothersome because automatically you were thinking of an ex-boyfriend or someone that maybe Ethan had a fight with or something like that. But apparently that inner circle has been resolved, or at least no further investigations are involving that. So now the police investigators have to go into the outer perimeter of this investigation. Look at pizza delivery people. Look at Uber drivers, things like that. So. But that's only if it's a personal connection to this crime. I'm leaning in that direction at this point, but boy, after 2 weeks, you think some lead would have come up. I'm not ruling out the incel factor, that is involuntary celibacy, and that is kind of a subculture within our country of mostly younger men who feel they're not dating the kind of women they would like to date. And while most of them, the vast majority, are not violent, some do have violent ideation, and they do want to carry out threats and actually take actions against people. Is it possible they saw the young women here as Stacy's, that's the nickname for attractive women, or the young man Ethan as a Chad? That's something that I know the profilers and behaviorists are looking into, all the online footprints of those type people. Or could it be a sexual sadist who travels the country and does some of these things elsewhere, including the one in Oregon that we talked about? These are some of the factors that the investigators right now, Rachel, are looking at.
So what is the profile for somebody who kills in this manner?
Well, I'm certainly leaning towards an adult male. It takes a lot. Shooting someone with a gun is one thing. You pull a trigger and that it's basically over and done with. But a knife wounding with a knife or killing with a knife is a whole different set of physical and emotional reactions. And times that by 4, as we have in this case. And you have a different kind of offender. People for years will say, well, Zodiac and Unibomber are the same people. No, Unibomber was a long-distance killer with the bombs. Zodiac was up close and personal with knives and some weapons. 2 different people. So this person, this offender, has a violent ideation about him. And although the crime itself is not that sophisticated, the 4 corners of the crime itself, let's face it, he used one of the oldest weapons available after a rock and a club that is a sharp or slashing type of instrument. But now, but how he got into the scene, how he perhaps pre-offense behavior was, how he explored perhaps the interior of the apartment, or had schematics about it, or actually was in there on other times, and of course the post-offense behavior, getting away with this crime. He apparently left no fingerprints behind, no blood on his part, and no DNA, and there's some sophistication before and after the crime, even if the violent crime itself lacks some of that therein.
Wow, James Fitzgerald, so much to think about in this very troubling and disturbing crime. Thanks for joining us and giving us your very your experience. You have a lot of experience in this, and it's been very insightful.